Tomorrow morning we can change the entire Camino. One turn, and everything after it becomes a different story. And the truth is, we still don't know if we're making the right call. I always thought the Camino was a journey of simplicity. Walk, eat, sleep and repeat. But nobody warned me about the amount of choices we have to make. Not the deep philosophical ones, the annoying ones. Where do we sleep today? Do we stop here or keep going? Do we eat now or we gamble on a cafe in next 6 kilometers? And then the biggest choice of all. Not should we do the Camino, we already did that. The real question starts when you arrive in Porto and realize that apparently there are 3 Camino Portuguese. And all of them are the right one. So which one do we choose?
Hola.
You see, on paper it sounds so simple. Central, coastal and litoral. In real life, it feels like choosing a personality. And the annoying part of it, that each one comes with a different kind of discomfort. Central is the classic, more towns, more pilgrims infrastructure, more Camino energy, which can also mean more people, more noise and more options. Coastal is the compromise route. Ocean some days, inland some days. Like the Camino saying, you can have a bit of everything, calm down. And then there is a litoral, the route that hugs the sea like it's afraid of being abandoned. Boardwalk, sand, wind, salt, that horizon that does something to your brain. And here's that problem, the all 3 routes promise the same thing. This one is the best, this one is the quieter, this one is the prettier, and this one is the more authentic. And you stand there in Porto, with your backpack and the big spiritual intentions, lost, like the child in the grocery store. If you're starting the Camino from Porto and you don't want to overthink every day, we made a simple route list you can copy. Where we slept, how many kilometers and miles we walked and what we paid, everything is linked below, or simply scan the QR codes. We chose the Portuguese Camino for a simple reason, because it felt simple. But then we had to choose which Portuguese Camino, and suddenly simple became a trap. Because the moment there are options, you don't just choose a route, you choose a story. If you pick Central, the story is community, tradition, the classic Camino rhythm. If you pick the coastal, the story is different, freedom, a beauty, open space, cinematic shots. And if you pick literal story, we are sea people, we belong to the salt. We will become poetic, probably annoying for our friends. And that's when I realized something. The most decisions in life don't feel like decisions. They feel like logic, or pressure, or habit. But on the Camino, the choice is so visible you can't hide them. The arrows literally split. Left, right, or it depends. So quick question for you. Which route would you choose? Tell us in the comments the real answer. When all the choices feel right, what do you do with the doubts? Comfort, intuition, or just trust the Camino? So we chose literal. Not because we had a perfect logical system, but because something in us leaned towards it. A pull. The same pull that makes you to take the job that doesn't make sense on paper. The same pull that makes you move cities. The same pull that makes you start walking 260 kilometers with everything on your back. And the first day, it was gorgeous. It was also not always easy. The ocean gives you beauty, but also gives you wind. The wind which is not romantic after 3 hours. It's loud, it's persistent, it gets inside your hood like it has personal problems with you. And somewhere between the broad walks and the cafes and the wow look at these view moments, this question started quietly tapping us on the shoulder. Is this route actually for us? Because that's what choices do. They don't end with the choose. They keep asking you to recommit. And a quick thanks to our sponsor Camino Maps. If you're starting the Camino Portuguese from Porto like us, this is the app that helps you with one big thing that Camino gives you every day: choices. You can see the full trail with all variants on a live app, so switching between littoral, coastal and central actually makes sense. You can search for accommodations by town with direct link and build day-by-day stage plan right inside the app. It also shows distance and elevation profiles and a live distance counter, so you always know how far to the next stop. And yes, there is a packing list because your brain will forget everything the moment you land in Porto. If you want to walk the less stress and more I got this, the link is in the description or in the Apple or Google store, and it's totally for free. Enjoy! And then the Camino tested us immediately, because after Porto, the sea comes fast, and so do the people. Matosinhos is busy, not the quiet Camino vibes, more like the world is happening. And we walk in through it with a backpack and big inner hopes. And that's how we ended up staying halfway in the place called Aldeia Nova to let the day settle inside us. And that's the Camino. Suddenly you stop, not because you found the wisdom, but because your legs voted. A bed, a shower, a table, food that tastes better than it has any right to taste. It was Aldeia Nova, and we tried the francesinha, which is basically Portugal saying, "You look tired. Here, eat that sandwich with no shame." And this is where doubts sneaked in. Not in the big dramatic moments, in the normal ones. Because when the sea is stunning, the mind goes stay. And when the sea is loud, the mind goes change. You eat, you laugh, you look around, and you start doing the human thing. Trying to predict the future from day one. Will this get quieter? Will this get busier? Are we choosing the right Camino? Are we choosing the right version of ourselves? And the dangerous part is that the doubt doesn't always feel like fear. Sometimes it feels like being smart, like being responsible. And then we will realize that sitting there in Aldeia Nova, we're not choosing the route, we're choosing what kind of discomfort we're willing to live with. Because the Camino doesn't give you clarity, it gives you another morning, another set of arrows, and another chance to choose again. Then the vibe shifts. You leave the noise and you arrive in Via de Conde. And you don't need to be an expert to feel it, the town slows you down. And up there, Santa Clara. It used to be a convent, it paid bills for silence, for vows, for stepping away, and now it's a hotel. A convent becomes a hotel, and somehow it still felt holy. Not because of religion, but because we arrived on foot. We're not judging, we're just noticing how life works. Everything changes, the place changes, and we change too. Sometimes what used to be sacred becomes practical, and sometimes the practical becomes sacred again. And then we reached Póvoa de Varzim, which is not just a town, it's a checkpoint. Because not far from here, you could still switch. From around Póvoa you can cut inland and connect to the central route. And suddenly the Camino does that thing again. It pulls a sign in your life and asks, are you sure? Do you want to keep going with what you choose? Or do you want to change the whole story? And the weirdest part of it is that both routes still feel right. And that's where we are, in Póvoa, with the sea behind us and a different Camino waiting inland. And tomorrow morning we decide, do we stay with the ocean or do we turn back towards the heart of the Camino? Tomorrow we choose. A decision is only the decision when you can still turn back. And tomorrow we still can.